Hi guys, so today we're looking at another limited edition foundation from Kiko. They are the only brand I know of that do limited edition foundations. Not just limited edition packaging, but the actual foundation itself is limited edition. So this came with the Unexpected Paradise collection. Love the packaging on this. Love the colour for the compact, but I wish they'd kept it with white for the flowers. I think it would have been much more modern and minimalist and cool. So this is $16.99 for 9.5 grams, currently reduced to $11.89. Does only come in 8 shades. See, this is the thing with limited edition foundations, because they know that there's only going to be a limited time they're selling it for, they need to be able to move it quite quickly, and so they reduce the shade range. Now, I automatically just went for the lightest shade because with all the lockdown and everything, couldn't really swatch and try stuff on. And it's a little bit too dark for me. In case you can't tell, I look a bit more goldy than normal. But look at that darkest shade. That's not dark at all. That's disappointing. So it's a matte finish foundation. It says you can use it wet or dry. And it's got an SPF of 50, UVA, UVB protection, sweat resistant and water resistant. And it smells of coconut. So I have used this today. We're going to do a wear test. We'll see how it goes. And yeah. Let's have a look. Right, so let's get this going. So, ooh, very nice. It's all wrapped in tissue. They never used to do that. Sometimes I don't like extra packaging because of the environment, but paper, it's not dire. So, nice mirror. And we've got like the multi-level things with the sponge. And it does smell of coconut, which unfortunately I don't love. But we'll see how it goes. So I am going to try and stay away from concealer. I have, however, corrected under my eyes with this guy because I don't really want to build up powder cover under my eye. I think that's going to look pretty icky. When I used to wear powder foundation, I used this MAC brush, so we're going to give that a shot. We're also going to try the sponge that comes with it and also this smaller Real Techniques brush. And just for a nosy, you know, why don't? Why not? Let's see what we can get. So let's go in with Old Faithful. Sorry, my flatmate wandered in. So the colour isn't looking great. Usually the foundations and concealers from Kiko I find are just a bit too dark for me. This brush is also shading like crazy. Let's try somebody else. Let's try the sponge that comes with it. Yeah, so I couldn't really swatch this because of the whole lockdown situation. But I just went for the lightest and hoped. And was wrong. I mean, look how dark that is. That's meant to be ivory. Usually if I blend it out I can be okay. But yeah, I definitely think they need to expand their shade range, which I kind of get why they don't in this sort of case, because they're the only people I really can think of that keep bringing out limited edition. Ooh. Okay, so it didn't react well to any oil going near it. They bring out limited edition foundations, and obviously you don't want to bring out like 40 or so shades of something that's limited edition. It's not going to sell. But at the same time, if people can't find their shade, that's not going to sell either. So, yeah. Maybe just stop doing limited edition foundation. Quite frankly, the idea of a Factor 50 foundation, I love. And wouldn't want it to just vanish, you know? Even if you only brought it out in summertime, in whichever hemisphere. But I don't know, I just find the whole idea of limited edition foundation really bizarre. Okay, so I don't like that balling up thing that's happening with the sponge, so let's try my other brush. So as you can see, my microdermal rejected and I gave up on it. So, right. I do have primer on. I'm getting quite a lot of like pores showing up. I'm not loving that. Can I get them to go away? Well, they look better now. But at the same time, I don't want to keep building this up when I know it's too dark for me. Let's zoom back out again. Whee! Like, I get that I'm ghostly pale. But, you know, people need to accommodate that. Okay, so I actually think this brush has been the nicest. The sponge, I don't know, it's possibly just picking up oil from, like, you know, the primer and things that I had on, but you're always going to have something on your skin when you're putting on your foundation, so it needs to be able to cope with that, which with the sponge, it just kind of couldn't. So I've got a nice bit of hard pan in this now. Okay, it doesn't look as drastic on camera, but in real life I am the wrong colour. So yeah, I'm gonna blend it down a little bit to try and smooth out that difference, make it less dire. But yeah, cover wise it's built up okay. No, actually it's built up quite nice. It does just take a wee bit of layering. Oops. So wear test wise, I'm a little bit later than I wanted to be. It is 20 to 12, but we will check in and see how this does. Right, so time for a quick check-in. So time-wise it is 2:45, so I've not had this on for too long. Actually it's about 3 hours. I will say from about the 2-hour mark I could see a little bit of oil breaking through my nose, but nothing drastic. I do have some sunglasses marks, but the day I find a foundation that doesn't do that, I will think the world's going to end. So yeah, it's not too drastic. Thankfully it hasn't oxidised. That would have been pretty bad. I'm going to see how well we can touch up those little marks. So, oh yeah, that's fine. And get rid of that shine. Whee. There we go. Alright, so yeah, so far so good, other than, you know, the shade selection. I can still get a bit of a whiff of the scent as I'm wearing this, which is unusual, but as long as it's a natural scent, which I'm yet to check, but I will check before the next check-in. As long as it's a natural scent, I don't have an issue with that. But yeah, I will be back with further check-ins. Well, the rest of the day slightly got away with me. It is 5 to midnight. And we're doing a check-in. So, a couple of things I wanted to remember to mention actually. The ingredients, I had a look, there's no coconut oil in this, which is kind of a good thing because it can be quite pore blocking, but also kind of a bad thing in that I don't know how I feel about having synthetic fragrances and things in products. They can irritate your skin if you've got sensitive skin, so bear that in mind if that's you. So, the other one, I forgot to mention this made me itch. It started itching a little bit after I'd put it on this morning, and then I kind of forgot because it faded away. But even when I'd done that little touch up earlier, I got a bit itchy. So that is pretty strange because I don't normally have reactions to things. It did die down, it did go away. So if you've got this, you start to feel a bit of an itch, wait it out, it'll probably go away, hopefully, like it did for me. So, zooming in, now that I've had this on for 12 hours, with only one minor touch up, I would say the cover's looking pretty good. Unfortunately the shade is still just not quite right for me, but cover's good. Got more oil breaking through. Just ignore the fact that my eye makeup's a mess. I kind of wish I'd done a bit more concealer under my eyes because, like I said, didn't want to build up the powder cover under there too much. But overall it's looking pretty darn good. It was a warm day today, so you know, it's lasted really well with that in mind, and I had a nap with it on. So I'm going to do one more touch up just because I am starting to think it's looking a little bit cakey. So we're just going to see how it does with another little touch up. The thing is, the sweatier you get, the less you want to be kind of touching it up, because it'll tend to transfer onto your brush, transfer into the product, and you'll get more hard pan. So yeah, I'll zoom you back in again. It's maybe a tiny bit cakey. I'm okay with it if it was a better colour match for me. But if you like a kind of natural finish, then by the end of the day, if you have to do any touch-ups, if you have oily skin, this might not be the product for you. The other thing I wanted to say was looking at, hi Flynn, looking at the Kiko website, what they did say was basically to not use this for prolonged sun exposure. So it's got an SPF 50, but they almost say not to rely on it, was kind of the vibe I was getting. Also with this collection there was a SPF 50 stick sunscreen for going under your foundation, so I don't know whether it's just trying to promote buying that as well. But what I will say to remember with the products that go under your foundation is you can't reapply them throughout the day. So they're great on their own. The stick would be great on its own as a handy little one to keep around that's mess free and things, but you can't reapply it throughout the day, and if you're out for a full day you are going to need to reapply your sunscreen. Same kind of applies for the foundation. You know, you can touch up bits and pieces for it being oily, but you're not going to be touching up the full SPF 50 worth every time you repowder your nose, so bear that in mind. If you were, say, on holiday and you were doing like a trip in the morning to go and see somewhere historic and awesome, and then in the afternoon you were just going to like jump in the pool, probably perfect for that, you know. It'll cover you for that morning, I hope, and then you don't need it in the afternoon anyway. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to put it into the goodbye collection, because it made me itch a little bit, so I think if you've got sensitive skin you might have a problem with it. It says SPF 50 but then seems to kind of like backtrack, like don't really rely on it though. Pretty poor colour range, and if you did end up falling in love with it, it's limited edition and it goes away anyway. Which is a shame, because I actually do like how it lasted. Like I said, if this had been a better colour match, I wouldn't mind it building up as much, because it wouldn't be quite as visible on me. But there we go. So, sad times, Kiko. Stop doing limited edition foundations. It's just odd. Does anybody else find, is it just me that thinks that's a really odd thing to do limited edition versions of, like foundation? Like, okay, eyeshadow, blusher, right, fine. You buy one of them, it can last you for years. Foundation, you buy it, you buy it, you buy it, you buy it. It runs out, you buy it again, runs out, you buy it again. It doesn't make sense to be limited edition. Rant over. So if you've got any questions, leave them down below and I will get back to you. Oh, you can really see the shade difference with my slightly sunburnt chest because I was playing miniature golf yesterday. Oops, let's sit down. So actually, I'm going to put the lights out and see if I can show you the shade difference. Okay, yeah, see, there you can see that it's not my colour. It's a nice, slightly yellow division there. And that's the palest colour, that's ivory. Anyway, like I say, any questions, leave them down below. I hope you all have a lovely week planned, and I will see you soon. Bye!